Hello, we're back. We're back with our Silver 83 EXP. This one hasn't had too much camera time lately, but that's here to change. So we had finally got around to yanking the engine out. The previous owner was driving it to a cellar like 1,000 miles away or so, because it was a daily driver at that point. But halfway down, they overheated, and when they so they canceled the deal. They got back home to find out that the radiator was bad and supposedly blown head gasket. So to get this thing on the show, get the show on the road, what's happening is we have a 1.6 high output already built up and raring to go. This thing's all ready to rock. We built it a little bit more than a year ago, so it's all 1.6 high output spec. High compression pistons, the higher lift cam, everything else is stock. It is bored over I think 10 or 20 thousandths, one of the two. And I did go through and I ported this guy. I ported this thing. So if it wasn't for that and the boring, if you want to claim boring as extra power, sure. From the factory, as we see this guy right now, it should be 80 horsepower. It should be significantly more than that now. It just as it sits right now, it should be 90. We go back through, we do a few modifications underneath the hood, and then we tune it for power instead of economy. But I usually try to get somewhere in the middle. I try to get ideal running conditions. The ideal stoichiometric ratio results in a small economy loss but big power gain. Anyway, we'll be doing that. We're doing a lot of the emission stuff, and then hopefully we'll be a little over that 90 horsepower mark. And that'd be fantastic because we're rocking a 5-speed. If this was a 4-speed, I think we'd go a little more. But it's mostly just because we have this 1.6 laying around that I had built up, and the home it was destined for isn't getting it. So while I would normally 1.9 swap everything, this is going to stay a 1.6 for now. That way I can get my engine into a safe bay and then get this thing moving down the road. So it really speeds up the processes. So we've gone. The old one is out. There it is. Nothing too special other than it's a 1.6 high output. And it's all stock. Everything underneath the hood was stock, except someone did bypass the smog pump. They had a few of the hoses logged off and blocked off. Otherwise, I think this guy will be pretty nice when we're done. Working AC, I believe, just as we speak and stare at it. There is a little bit of extra work ahead of us. One video you guys will be looking forward to, I'm sure, is rebuilding the manual rack, because get a hold of this. That thumping you hear? It's not the tie rod end, not the outer and not the inner. What that is a failed bushing in the manual rack. Extremely common. To the point where we have yet to find a manual rack that isn't like that. It's just some are pretty bad, and others are horrific. Like you'd be doing 55 down the road, and this one wheel is doing this. But otherwise, in all other cases, it really only shows up when you brake or accelerate, and this wheel decides to go as you do one or the other. I forget which. So we got that to tend to. Extremely common, so we'll get around a decent video for it because it's a fix anyone can do, and you don't have to. It's not invasive at all. All you have to do is remove the wheel. Have this corner of the car in jacks, and then disassemble the tie rods. And that's it. Once that boots off, you have full access to everything you need inside the tube. That's how you change out the internal bushings, mind you, not the external. Internal. Get that through your heads, please. Internal. These external bushings are not the cause of the inside rack flopping about its tube, okay? Please recognize. So we got that to do. We also have a lot of cleaning to do. You can see there's grease galore. I haven't even looked inside the tranny. Oh, it's messy. Oh boy, it real messy. So the engine that was on this must have had a rear main seal leak. If I'm honest, I haven't even looked yet. I never even turned the engine over. It didn't really matter to me. I knew it had good parts on the inside, and the car itself was fantastic and spec'd out in a lot of great ways. So we're moving forward. We'll clean that thing up inside and out. We'll get it to the point where you can actually read the transmission tag on the back. Like I said, all this smog pump stuff is going. We'll change out the catalytic converter. I don't know if it's plugged or not, but I'm not going to take that risk. We're trying to keep our power and economy high. That's about it. Mostly cleaning. It will be a bunch of work getting the AC running again, because on all these carbureted cars, it's controlled by a series of vacuum valves. So that will be fun and interesting. But I think that's about all I have to share for now. Next video will be us installing it. Or after it's installed and we get to fire it up, you guys will get to hear it fire up first. And then we'll be able to go from there. Now I suppose I should check over all these CV joints and boots, make sure none of them are ripped or torn. I don't remember there being any problems. Because once the engine goes in, it's ready to run and it's going to roll. So we're going to drive it a little bit this year, I hope. Rear wheel bearings are good to go. Brakes, as far as I can tell, are fine. But that's not good enough for me. We're going to go through them. You can see there's oxidization on the master, but the master has been replaced. The booster, however, it's rotted pretty bad. So I'm guessing the master was replaced because it was leaking into the booster. So we probably have a good master here. We might need to change out the booster. Easy stuff. We're going to get fresh brake fluid in it because I've had this car for a year. The person I got from, they've had it for a year. The person before that, they've had it for who knows how long. We don't know when that service was done. But brake fluid you should be changing every 3 to 6 years. 3 is better than 6, of course. So we'll do that. I got a new radiator to put in here. Previous owner had stocked up on a couple while they were available. We're also going to go around and change out a bunch of these mounts. You can see that this one's got some dry rot. It's not as bad as others, but we're going to make that perfect. Because one big thing with these is if you can keep your good boots in these things, good mounts, your shifting linkage will perform better, because the tranny is meant to hang in a certain way. As these mounts start deteriorating, it starts hanging in funny ways, and just because of that, the geometry for the shift linkage, these 2 bars down here, they're not going into the tranny the way directly straight. And that means that your throw at the shifter lever is going to be different than what it should be. So we're going to fix that, make it all ideal. But I think we'll be in good shape when we're all done. So I noticed the shifter, it shifts flawlessly. It's the crispest shifting car I have. I haven't even driven it. But yeah, we'll go from there. So yes, keep an eye on the videos, and to all the people that say, well, you're not really doing anything with these cars, you're just collecting scrap. I assure you that is not the case. We're going through these, it's just taking time. So right now I'm at our other property. We've been moving all freaking year. And it's the last few weeks it's been time to actually get back into EXP business. Hence all the video uploads of all these cars I've been getting just in the last couple of weeks again. That's some of the smog pump deletion we were talking about. pretty common when this hose goes to heck, because it's just rubber over tinfoil over brown paper, cardstock. Oh, another thing down the pike for this guy, we got a brand new electric fuel pump, so we can get rid of that mechanical crap. So I refuse. I'm also not too big on EGRs. So we blocked out that crap too. Yeah, otherwise everything here is golden. I ran out of paint for the valve cover way back when we did this, so we'll touch up that sometime. That's kind of low priority. Otherwise, I think this guy's real neat and clean. And we do have a nice yellow cap with good rubber on it that will switch out, so it looks correct under the hood. Now, like this one, it's all covered in grease. It is yellow, as you can see. Yeah, so that'll be real fun. We also have to rebuild the carb because that's never go through the rest of the fuel system. Change out every piece of rubber hose around the car. There are new brake lines, so again, that's part of the promising brakes. We'll have to see how everything else is. This project won't be huge. It'll be fast. I think, yeah. So we'll leave it at that, and keep an eye out for the following videos on this pretty guy.